Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren. And I'm Michelle. And we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Well, hi there, ho there, and welcome to Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm your host, Lauren, being joined by my co-host and my cozy correspondent, Michelle.
I love it. I love that title. I love it for a million reasons. Cozy correspondent, CC, cozy conversation, CC.
There's so much.
I just, out of all of the titles I've ever had, and there haven't been many, and I really actually have never given a shit about a title in my life, but cozy correspondent may be one that I am most proud of. And I am great. Thank you for asking.
Well, this is I find from now until the end of January, February to be the cozy months. And we have just kind of kicked the door open to October. It is that time of the year where cozy conversations comes to life.
Yeah, this is like our Super Bowl.
And us as humans,
we're in our flow state. We're in our flow state.
So you guys, happy October. We're going to do a little October celebration within the body of the podcast today. But before we get things started, Michelle, I have to tell you and Mia, actually, I did some deep dives in some local pharmacies while out in Italy, and I found a product that I bought, and I think it's on Amazon. I don't think it is. I know it is because I wanted to I was like, am I going to be able to find this again? It's sure enough, it's on Amazon. So awesome. I probably would have never found it if I didn't see it in the pharmacy. And this is a little beautiful bottle for yourself. And this would also make for a beautiful gift for a girlfriend, like a friend of yours or a sister or your wife. You guys, it's it's out of Paris. It's Parisian, and it's called Nux.
Okay.
Nux. And it's in French, the first part, but it's a multi-purpose dry oil, face, body, and hair. Nourishes, replenishes, and beautifies with 7 precious botanical oils. It smells.
How good. God, I love a good smelling oil.
It's just a very beautiful, soft fragrant, and it dissipates. So you kind of go through it. It's a spray bottle. So you spray it and it dries. It's a dry oil, like I mentioned. This is a beautiful product. I'm going to link this.
And that's on Amazon.
This is a stocking stuffer for someone. This is a secret Santa. This is your best friend's birthday. It is it's not a sex oil, Michelle. It's just, it's not
in the market for one of those. Yes, I am. I'm perimenopausal, dry as the Sahara. Sweating everywhere else, dry as a bone down there. Anyway.
All right. Anyways.
Literally having a hot flash as we speak.
Well, I think
right
you're
now.
Probably blushing a little bit from saying what you just said.
I mean, it's a fact. It is a fact.
So yeah, this is a product that I found and highly recommend from Italy.
Ooh, great rec.
My pleasure. I'm obsessed. Okay, you guys, moving on. We have a review. Michelle, we have waited for a very long time for this individual to write a review. And even though we never doubted you, Janet.
Never once.
We knew it was going to happen, but it's finally here and we are so motherfucking grateful for it. Michelle, take it away.
Do you think that Janet gave us this review after when we saw her in the farmer's market and she introduced herself? She's like, finally, I get to meet you guys, whatever. And we were like, she was like, I know. And we're like, listen, Janet,
you love us. Write us that review.
Write that review. She did.
You can't just be a taker, you guys. You gotta give a little bit too.
Janet says, can't get enough 5 stars. I absolutely love Lauren and Michelle. As a longtime faithful listener, the way they blend their humor and educational topics makes me laugh and learn from every episode. They have such natural talent, and I feel like I'm sitting with them during their show. I've taken so many of their recommendations too. The highlight of my week, for sure. Keep it coming, ladies.
Janet, I love you. The next time I see you at the farmer's market, I'm going to give you a little spank.
You know what? I want to share something. Janet, about Janet. I love her too. Okay.
Oh, what she does.
And Janet,
I take back what I said. She gives a lot.
She gives a lot, and I intend to be a part of this organization as well. So she's the executive director at Community Assisted Rides. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a program where you can drive elderly folks that need a ride to a doctor's appointment, to the grocery store,
somewhere
to be picked up from somewhere. Give
Farmers
them a ride.
Market.
She asked me, Michelle, would this be something you would ever be interested? I said, Janet.
Oh, I say no more.
This is Michelle. In my driving old people around to get them to their appointments.
Say geezers.
I was going to say geezers.
I knew it.
Driving old geezers around,
man.
Getting them to where they need to be. Now you're talking. So
I think this is a great opportunity for anyone that's looking to give this holiday season and no money. No one's asking for me, maybe some gas money, but give a ride, man. See what you can do, how you can even maybe just one or two, just fill your feel-good bucket of doing something nice for somebody else.
I love it. Hey, and we're going to talk about this later in the show about disconnecting and connecting. What a wonderful way to kind of get involved and have a conversation with somebody that you might not necessarily.
Look at that, Jan. You give us a review and we give you a shout out. Speaking of shout outs, you guys, oh my God, real quick. Shout out to Julie from the South Loop. I ran into her in Trader Joe's with her adorable little son. Love meeting whiffs in the wild. Yeah. Thank you for coming up to me, Julie. I absolutely loved our chat at the end of the aisle. Just such good love connecting. Again, connecting with other people in the wild is all I'm here for.
Bucket filler.
All right, you guys, we have a wonderful podcast for you guys today. Buckle up, sit tight, stay cozy, and enjoy episode 313. Well, happy October.
Yes.
It's my favorite month. It's finally here.
It is. And it is feeling more like October. It's baby steps getting there. Turned the air on yesterday, not going to lie.
That's so annoying.
But I'm looking at the trending forecast, and it's what I like to call, we're entering into perfect temperate fall weather. This is cool at night.
Oh, windows are open.
Windows are open. Mm-hmm.
Windows are wide open. And I see that you've jazzed up your beams behind you. Which did you? Okay, I can't quite tell from the photo.
It's like the orangey.
You did
white,
the orange. Okay.
Felted. Yes.
The balls. Because those can last until like through Thanksgiving too, which is kind of nice.
Yes. These will not come down until I switch out my decor for my pop of red.
I feel bad. I don't even bother with Thanksgiving. I have mums and pumpkins in front. Other than that, my harvest vibe, interior decor, I have no turkeys.
Yeah, I think I have one.
Just more pumpkins, maybe.
I have one turkey, and I usually don't find it until I pull out the Christmas box, and I go, whoops, Daisy, missed you there, buddy.
It's there. Tonight, I hope to decorate for October. It was my goal to do it last night, but my ass is being handed to me with jet lag.
Yeah. So what are you experiencing? I didn't think it was that bad, but I was super tired.
At 8:00 last night, I was trying to do our podcast notes.
Were you doing this?
Were
you holding your eyes open
yeah, my eyes were closing and I just closed my computer. I'm like, I can't even do this right now. And then I was like, no, I gotta. And I opened my computer back up. And I was like, I have to do this. Michelle's
that's the
depending on me.
There's nothing worse than when you have to you have a deadline and you have nothing left to give. In fact, I told our editor, I said, listen, dude, we're going to switch our recording schedule to next week. We were going to try to do it Monday this week, but whatever. I said, but Lauren has returned from Italy and she really has nothing left to give.
Nothing. Thank you, Daniel, our sweet editor man who is so flexible with us. He is a wonderful editor. Thank you. Shout out to Daniel. Yeah, after a month, we are back. Okay, I have to tell you how we almost missed our flight.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is a warning to all travelers. So I set up a shuttle, the same man that picked us up from Rome Airport to bring us to our first Airbnb. I contacted him again on WhatsApp. He is super efficient. He's on it. Same rate, all good. Let's effing go. And I asked him to pick us up at 7:15. Well, we didn't get downstairs until 7:40. And
why? What were you thinking?
Michelle, because this is Anthony and I are very good travelers, but we are always running a little bit late when leaving the place, whether it's our home to get to the airport and not nerve-wracking late, just like, we've got some time to spare late. You know what I'm saying? Well, when someone's waiting for you and they don't know that this is how you travel and you haven't spoken to them because your phone was on silent from the night before and you never checked in with him, he drives away.
No.
So he leaves you there.
Where did he go?
He left. He had been texting and calling me, and I felt horrible because we had an agreement. He was coming to pick us up to take us to the airport early on a Sunday morning. He comes in his suit and tie. He's a very professional driver. You know what I mean? And if anyone is ever traveling to Italy, I would give you his number because, he was pissed, and I don't blame him one bit. He wasn't mean pissed, but he was writing me. He's like, can you at least pick up the phone? I am a serious business person. Like, I agreed to be here and you're nowhere to be found.
You don't normally go like that. You made a mistake.
I made a mistake. And so I begged him, and I'm like, I am so sorry. Were you crying?
Were you almost crying?
I was almost crying. I'm like, if I start crying, what's that going to do?
It might get him there faster. That's the only thing.
I begged. He wasn't picking up my phone.
Him?
He wasn't even picking up my phone call. And because he had called me, I was like, his name is Rosvan. I was like, Rosvan, I am literally begging you. We have to get to our airport. And he's like, I'm picking up another client. Like, I'm sorry. I had to move on. And I'm like, do you have anyone? I'm like, we have so much luggage. We need a Sprinter van. Like, this has to happen.
Or you could have taken 2 cabs.
But by the time the cabs, we were trying to get a cab, we were losing time. And he was
because you guys weren't in a hotel. You guys were in an apartment.
We were in an Airbnb.
Okay, because we were in Rome, our guy called our cab. He was there and lickety split.
And we had a lot of luggage. Like, we procured more things. We had to buy a new luggage. And he finally agreed. And I also said, I will give you more money. And he, after more begging, he was like, fine, I'll come. And even when I saw him, no hard feelings. That's when I started crying. It was when I almost started crying when I saw him. I'm like, I'm genuinely so sorry. He was great. He picked us up. But then we get to the airport and holy fucking shit. God, so was everyone else at the airport. So now I had to cut my way and do what I do sometimes when we're in this position. You have to go up to strangers who are also traveling that want to get home. And I have to be like, I am so sorry. What time is your flight? 10:30? Okay, well, mine's at 9:45 and I and my family might miss it. If you please don't let us cut. And,
Lauren, how stressed out were you? How stressed out were you?
You know what? The minute that the first people started to let me start cutting, I started to dissipate. And I'm like, now my goal is to just cut and ask for forgiveness and thank people. And I was like, good karma to everybody. And even the TSA, their version of the TSA were so accommodating.
So much nicer.
I went up to one woman who could give a fuck who I am, what my struggle is. And I just was like, help, I need help, please. I told her that I messed up on my transportation. She called like 3 people over. She's like, Maurizio, vieni qua, come over here. And she's like, this woman, she's running late. We need to get her there. They had to help with our car seat. It was amazing.
Oh my God. That was amazing. Just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
God
thank
bless.
You to all of the travelers. If you ever are or find a traveler in panic, just help them out because it costs nothing and it helps everyone.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I don't know what everyone keeps asking me. Everyone kept asking me, when's Lauren come back? Are you ready for her to come home? And I was
time.
It's time. I'm ready now.
Michelle, part of the reason why I didn't even play with the idea of going to Oktoberfest, because I thought you might, actually I was just like, just come back.
I wouldn't care. I honestly wouldn't. I will never be the person that stops
Hold
anybody from doing something amazing.
Dreams, man.
But I was like,
it was time.
It's time.
And now I have to say that since we've done this for the month, and next year will be different when we do this again. And we can figure out the work situation and have maybe dedicated office hours together. I don't know. I think we did good enough for what we did. Mm-hmm. And now I know how to do it better next year in regards to working from afar. Shout out to our friend and loyal listener, Devin, who was like, wow, you guys actually did podcasts while you were gone and put out some pretty legit content. I thought this was a month off. I was like, oh, sweetie, how do you think I paid for this trip?
Yeah.
I had Christmas presents to buy, buddy. Yeah. When we were, in Italy, my mother-in-law and I would have spritz, and then we'd go spending. So it turned into spritz spending.
Oh,
we would
my
spritz
God.
it and spend it. Okay, baby. If you're like, here, let's get a tipsy. Let's go spend
How
some
many
money.
more lemon type things did Candy?
Candy
Did she continue on her lemon trend?
No, she just started buying. Now she was on a roll. She was like, I'm buying clothes. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh shit, clothes, that's a lot. Because when I'm buying things, I'm buying like little things.
Little trinkets, like little trinkets, little small,
purses, jewelry.
easy to pack.
Candy's buying motherfucking wardrobes. And I'm here for it. I'm like, don't worry about it. We're getting another luggage.
I cannot wait to see some of the gear that woman bought.
Full transition. She looks so good. And I bought. Listen, everyone, I know everyone's talking about fall trends, and I'm looking and following, but I'm going to tell you straight from Italy, straight from me to you, the fall trend happening in Italy right now.
What is it?
Is a cropped badass leather jacket over your shoulders, black, or through the arms, through like a biker, almost leather jacket. And I bought one. I saw it on everybody, and I was like, mommy wants one too. And then I also bought something else that I was on the hunt for. And this is something that when you're traveling, think of these things. I bought a beautiful leather fanny pack. Now that I'm a mom, I don't get to wear as many of my like cool purses and bags, right? I'm a fanny pack wearer because it's accessible. It's easy. I have a baby. I've got other shit. And I use like a Carhartt one around here, sporty. Yeah. And I'm like, I need to level it up a little bit. I bought this beautiful, it was in San Gimignano. I always mess that name up, but a cute little town. Weaved, all of the leathers weaved.
Oh yeah, so I love that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's basically a knockoff of the Claire V or Bottega Veneta or whichever, however you say it. And the guy was cool about it. And it wasn't cheap, but it also wasn't
like what was pennies. It, a few $100?
It was like $150. It was $125, which I was like, you know what? I'm here for it. And it's stunning. And I almost bought that Claire V one prior to the trip for $400.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find something. I found it. So put it out in the universe. You guys get that cropped leather jacket. That is what's happening all over Italy.
Heard it here first. To
round things down in Rome, favorite city, one of my favorite cities. You can wander at night for days in that city. It's I know they call Vegas like the city that never sleeps, but Rome has that energy too.
Yeah, Rome has that energy minus. There's just something about the smell of a burning cigarette on a cobblestone street in Rome.
I'm here for it.
Versus the cigarette
like around Lower Wacker
in a Vegas casino.
Oh, Michelle, you are so...
It just doesn't hit the same.
You know, it's so funny.
One smells like bad decisions and a long road to nowhere and an empty bucket of money with nothing to show
Keep
for
going.
it.
What does the other one sound like?
Rome sounds like it's a cig in Rome.
It's fashion
smells
and
like
chic. It's
nostalgia. It's très chic. That's all it is.
Euro.
It's très chic.
I mean, you're so right. I was in Vegas in June, and the minute I walked into my first casino ever, I was like, "Get me the fuck out of here! This is disgusting." In Rome, I'm like, "Give me a cigarette."
I'm like, I was ready to light up right across from Mia. We were sitting outside. We were having pizza. Shocker. And I was like, you know what? Everybody around me, I was ready to be like, can I have one?
And that's another thing. There's a lot of people smoking out there.
Mia did say this. She goes, you told me everything about Italy. Everybody's healthier. She goes, but I got to say, people are smoking cigs. They're vaping. They're smoking.
The cigarette culture is going, the smoking culture is going strong in Italy.
It is.
I can say that I saw many, a couple other observations was, we're going to talk a lot about like constant connection in our hot topic today, about always being connected to the phone. And over the past month, I didn't put up as much content as I thought I would or I wanted, because I wanted to not do that, because it felt so good to just be in the moments. And also, it's funny with traveling. Sometimes I like to some stuff is just for me. Some of that stuff is just my experience, and it's too hard to translate over, a photo or a video. At the end of the trip, while sitting on the plane, I had a lot of hours. So I bought that Wi-Fi and I did a whole month's like story of some of my favorite moments. And looking back,
that was so good.
We did so much. It was honestly one of the best experiences of my life. And it taught me a lot about me as a traveler, relationship wise. And it was fun at the end of this trip. My bests, Maggie and Patrick, they came and joined. And that was, Patrick was like, I don't know, do you want us coming at the last 3 days of your trip? And I'm like,
Yes.
I honestly don't understand. I don't know what better way to close it out.
Not? Why would you? What would be a reason not to?
Because he's like, maybe you want to decompress. I'm like, it's Rome. I want to walk around and I want to walk around with you guys. And that's what we did. We ate gelato, had some wine, some beer, just walked aimlessly through the streets of Rome. Yep. And that's kind of how it felt and what it was. And it was spectacular. I will tell you, I am so excited to be home for October and spooky season. Yep. I am here to get my witch vibes on. If I were coming home in April or March, I would be in a deep, low, dark depression. I'm just going to say that.
Soggy, muddy, soggy black snow is what you're talking about. That's what
so I think I'm going to kind of keep this timeline the way it is.
Love it.
And do it again next year. And now as we move into fall, I told you guys I was spurt spending, and now I'm moving into frugal fall. There is going to be not much spending at all.
Time to tighten the old belt buckle.
Maggie came up with that one. It's going to be a frugal fall. Michelle, how was your last week since the last time we chatted?
Let's see. Okay. So the last time we chatted, we, in a blink of an eye, filled our, net game, leagues to the max in a minute. And it's just been, I've honestly been really I've been cooking a lot. I've been really sort of leaning into the season with my kids, with my family. Will, I will say, is not okay with the decor. He wants more. He wants it to be.
He wants more.
He's saying that this is not enough.
I need to get Will like a piece of decoration from me to him. Like, what is he into? Is he into skeletons, pumpkins, Halloween, autumn? Like, what's his thing?
Pumpkins, Halloween, autumn. I think it's hilarious. I don't know.
I need to get him something. Just for his room.
Yeah. He would really like it. He's got a lot of opinions about the decor. I'm like, it's never enough around here. No, the week it's been very chill. I like this space that we're in, the seasonal, these kids, their activities. It doesn't seem like it's so insane. I am looking forward to my kids getting their driver's license in exactly 2 months from today.
God.
This recording.
What kind of car? Like, what are they going to get? A hoop-de-doop? A loop-de-loop?
Right now, we're not talking about getting a car, except Mia
has
informed us.
Use the car?
Of course.
Okay.
But Mia has really put the hard sell. She wants a car, and she is insistent that she will pay for it because she has a job and she works regularly. So we said, you know what? We will have a conversation about this, because the more we think about going from 2 drivers to 4 drivers overnight, that's going to be an interesting adjustment. And to be honest, we also have 2 new cars, and I don't know if I feel like having my new drivers driving around in our new cars. So she has done a PowerPoint. She's been working on it for a few days. Good. And she has been researching cars, benefits, pros, cons. Shocker. She says it's the strangest thing. She has found no cons. But we are going car? For any car. She's going to pitch this whole process and why this is a good idea. I think later tonight. I think it's going to be our preview.
Best of luck to the salesperson, to Mia. They say that Subarus are the safest cars on the road. I'm just throwing that out there.
This is true. And so is the Kia. The Kia Telluride is ranked very high for safe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
Cool.
And I will say, I do love, people ask about that car a lot.
I've seen it.
I love
people
the safety features.
Yeah.
I love the safety features. That is one thing about putting my teen drivers behind the wheel that makes me feel better. So shout out to Kia's good safety measures there.
Well done, Kia. All right. Well, Michelle, going right back for a moment as we segue into our hot topic, one of the biggest things I've noticed, there's a lot of cultural things that I love about being in Italy and then the ones that are contrary to it, it's what I dislike most about being here. And what the things about being here is that we've discussed this in previous episodes, like everything for us is bigger, faster, more expensive. It's on the go. There's no like, let's chill and just have a moment. When you're in Italy, you're sitting at the bar, you're having your espresso, or your head is up and you're looking around.
And you're either talking to the barista or you're talking to the stranger next to you.
Or you're just eating I watched one woman just eat her croissant, her little breakfast pastry and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
She didn't fucking have a phone. She just looked, she observed other people. At another point when we were sitting at dinner, there was a family that was next to us. And as the server came to just place their drinks down and like their little aperitivo, like crisps and olives, everyone stopped talking, put their phones down, and gave all of their attention to their server as they politely placed their stuff down. And it was just it was like a moment of observation and a moment of respect for them. They're like, okay, this gentleman's coming to do his job. We pause now and we allow him to present the things to us. I'm like, God, this is incredible. And I was driving down freaking Harrison yesterday to go grocery shopping. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you, and this was actually alarming and depressing. When I live on a college campus, basically like UIC's right there, as I watched the silhouette of the walkers, guys, it was a bunch of guys actually just walking in like unison, like one behind another. All I saw was the back of their head and their hunched neck because they were all looking down while they were walking. And I'm like, that is what makes me butthurt. That's what hurts my vision for the future. And it's just like, there's so much more to see than just everything on your motherfucking phone.
Yeah. You know what? I think that that's an interesting observation too, when you like look at that from a wider lens, like the trending sort of negative, downturn, the crappy things that we are experiencing in this country, this constant connection to our phone, which leads to a complete and utter disconnection of the human people and society and the world around you. And I think that the trickle effect to this constant connection, it leads to this social isolation and this lack of concern, literally, for even the desire to want to connect with people. And I agree with you. I've seen it.
It's depressing.
It's something that it triggers like a sort of like a sadness in me, because people don't realize how we are human by nature. We need connection. That's what makes us human. And
but connection, not just to other people, connection to the world around us, to nature, to fresh air. And it's watching this and really seeing, and being in Italy for a month, I can tell you that I saw smoking more of a problem than people being on their phones all the time. Like when people were sitting at dinner, they were having people. There was one exception when we were in Siena. The strangest thing, I hear something to my right. I'm like, is there a television behind me outside? No, it was a couple. They must live very busy lives, because the gentleman was watching a soccer game with the volume up on his table while his wife watched her favorite program. Well, so maybe they've got like 10 kids at home.
Listen, these Italians, did you know?
Yes,
listen,
yes.
Soccer is freaking God in Italy. And everybody knows that when their team is playing in Italy, all bets are off.
All bets are off. I mean, absolutely right. So maybe
and that woman knew. She was like, this is he's at church right now.
You're so right.
And I'm just going to go with the flow. So we're going to give them a pass.
But other than that, I didn't notice, and I would have, because that's something that really saddens me. I hate seeing it. People connected to their devices. Now, of course, you go into the touristy moments, like, Trevi Fountain. By the way, I give you props for getting up close and personal with the fountain.
Oh, yeah.
Because
we
it
wrangled
was a
in.
madhouse.
It's insane.
When we were there. But, everyone's taking photos, whatever. But you just didn't see the life living, the brain eyes on the phone all day long.
It's so bad. It literally makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah. And, you brought this up. Anthony and I actually brought this up while we were in Italy. I said to him, is it just me? Are you noticing that people are like not on their phones as much? He's like, oh no, it's totally like that. It's definitely not as bad as at home. And then you brought up earlier this week about the constant connection of being connected to your children's grades or something.
Yes,
can you go a little deeper into that?
That this conversation kind of was inspired by a conversation I was having with my mom friends. We live in a world where, grades and such aren't written on a report card at the end of a semester and they come home in the mail. Now life is attached. Everything's attached to an app. Everything's digital. And don't get me wrong. There are some amazing positives to having access in that way. I'm not bagging on the accessibility and being able to be in the know, because it does help you kind of navigate what's going on and see where your kids are going and stuff. But when you have the notifications on your parent portal and you're getting dinged every 5 minutes of when the kids are getting grades and stuff. That was me in the beginning of freshman year. I had my notifications on. And honestly, I was a fucking nervous wreck. It stressed me out.
So it added anxiety to your
Yes, it added anxiety to me. And it adds anxiety to the freaking kids. I watched Mia while she was in Italy and not being in school, and her notifications were on. And as the grades started to come in, again, different scenario, okay, but I could see sort of this
decline of
presence,
traveler enthusiasm,
because she was starting to get stressed. But so I was talking to we were talking to our girlfriends on the phone one day, and we were literally on a group conversation, and one of my girlfriends was getting, kind of nervous about grades and whatever, and we were like, turn that shit off.
Yeah, let it go.
Set some boundaries. Create
Absolutely.
some guardrails. Let the kids get through the week, because then it's like a trickle effect. Like if you're one of those parents that is on your kids, I'm a middle of the roader. I've got some friends that are like, I'll see the report cards when they come at the end of the semester. I honestly wish that that's how I could be. My kids have a little bit more, they have more needs than other kids. So I've got to kind of just make sure I'm advocating and keeping them in, if they need anything, whatever. And then I've got other, you have other parents that are on it and triggering, reacting and imposing stress on their own kids. Do this. You got to be better, whatever and I'm saying, no, fuck that. Turn that shit off. Mm-hmm. Turn all of the things off. Your notifications for email, for everything. Create some
time blocking.
Set yourself up so you can manage your life, be productive, and still tackle those things without the anxiety and the stress of always being finger on the pulse of shit that you don't need to be on.
Well, you bring up an excellent point too. I did some research for this conversation last night. We're going to go over a few things. And one of the things that they talk about with this constant interruption of notification is the trouble that it has on individuals' attention span. So it's like, you have people that are trying to have a conversation and it's like ding, ding, ding. And you're just like, hi, and you're trying to talk to someone and they're, or work on a project or get something done. And they're just roadblocked because they are just constantly interrupted. So they're not getting what they're having to get done. They're not staying in a conversation because they're baffled by a text that just came through. You know what I mean?
That happened to me yesterday when I was talking to you. We were having a conversation and I got some news on a text thread and I was like, oh my God. And I totally derailed our conversation. Last night I was practicing with the pigs. I didn't put my do not disturb on yet, and I was getting blasted. Now here I am trying to create new neural pathways and learn new songs and memorize shit and all this stuff. And I could not complete a task until I was like, do DND, baby.
Enough.
You're out of here.
Absolutely. There's a lot that this constant, so they call it constant connectivity. That's kind of like the word, like the phrase that they're using for, and they talk a lot about mental health, obviously, as well, especially in regards to the young ones, comparing themselves to others. And you know what? I got news for you. Adults are doing that too. It's 100%. A bunch of bullshit. Although I saw a TikTok yesterday of this woman who says, I got to tell you something, you guys, I'm 50 years old and I need the 25s, the 35s, the 40-year-olds to hear my words right now. Don't give a flying fuck what anyone else thinks about the life you're leading except for you. As soon as you put on the blinders and thoughts of what anyone else might think, as long as you're happy in the life that you are leading, it doesn't matter what your life looks like compared to anybody else's. And when I heard that, I was like, it's nuggets of wisdom, TikTok. Thank you again.
It's nuggets of wisdom. And that is so true. And that is so, that is something that a 47-year-old, 42-year-old person can harness that at this age. Imagine how hard it must be to be a teenager going through life who is now trying to stay the course and not be sucked into the comparison game and not see what everybody else is doing. I mean, everything from dresses and
Oh,
parties
it's gotta be
and
horrific.
grades and classes and colleges and houses and
Grades.
cars.
Did you say grades? I think you just did.
Grades.
Like
Everything.
people posting. I'm
Never-
sorry. I'm going to be that person that says people posting about the kind of grades that their kids are getting. I'm going to say this right now. I do not envy anyone that decides, and I'm not judging, but did I sound a little judgy earlier? All I'm going to say is this. I do not envy anyone who decides to put their entire life on a platform where strangers, listen, if you want to brag about your fucking kids' grades, I actually say do it. Send that text message to grandma and grandpa, put it in the family photo album, a screenshot, send it, whatever to their tutor, go for it. But this announcement to the world is just a little intense for everybody.
I think that those types of announcements, this constant need to show the world your children's accomplishments, the strides, all the wins, whatever. I think that we're getting lost in the importance of the experience, and people, some people, not everybody, I think there's a lacking inside. I think that the individual that is so quick to post and overpost and all of those things needs to go inward and find out what's lacking there that they can create. So there's not this need to put out. So there's this external, good job.
And
that's amazing.
But this is what I'm thinking about though. If that kid wanted to post it, listen, I get that we got to be, proud of our kids and raise them up and celebrate their accomplishments. But like back in the day, we were all doing some really awesome things and they weren't being announced to the world by our parents. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like it's a little different. The idea of us posting the lives of our children on Instagram and having them constantly connected to strangers is a little mind blowing for me. Listen, I know that people love Pookie and Brian. I don't even know who they are.
Are you talking about Campbell and Jed?
Two. Yeah. Pookie. Is that Pookie?
Yeah, that's Pookie.
There's a lot. When I watch these people that put their relationships on Instagram and then people who put their whole lives, they're from the start of the day to the end of the day on Instagram. I do want to know, what is that accomplishing for the rest of for you or for the rest of the world? The amount of pressure, because to me, I am 100% convinced that those types of people that do that on Instagram or social media are under a lot of pressure, suffer from anxiety, are overwhelmed because what's next? What can go viral next? We can't lose that steam. And it's just to please the masses of strangers.
It's a very unfortunate space that we are in that sense, especially from a content creator's perspective. When you are in the content creator space, there's massive pressure to do what you just said, which is why you and I are the slowest growing platform on planet Earth, because it just doesn't, first of all, it's not even who we are.
Me, but I can't do it. Listen, I'll tell you something.
It's exhausting. It adds stress.
Yeah, but I also have so much to my life that I want to pay attention to that sometimes I feel like I don't pay enough attention to, whether it's my own journaling or doing something in my home or spending time with a friend. Like I don't have fucking time to be watching anyone else's life or putting the life that I'm trying to create out there, bits and pieces of it. Sometimes I'll post a photo of Luna and people are like, oh my God, she's growing up so fast. I'm like, because you haven't seen her in 4 months on this platform.
I think that's one of the things as a parent that freaks me out the most is when I see my kids, on their phones. I just am adding up the time that they're not out or living their life the way I lived my life as a 16-year-old.
It's a different world.
And it's just such a massive adjustment that I'm not sure that I'll ever get used to until they are grown adults and out of my sight. And then I won't see it and it won't trigger the stress and anxiety.
I completely relate to that and understand where you're coming from. I would probably be doing something similar. I would be, even like when Anthony and I are on our phones for too long, I'm like, okay, done. Phones are off. Like we've been sitting here. Enough is enough. We've all got a good doom scroll in us. It's just, I think we're starting to see, and research is showing, and the Attorney General, this is all out there. It's no secret.
Mm-hmm.
Spending too much time on your phone is
bad for your health.
Whether it's you're scrolling or you're constantly being dinged and whatnot. It comes along with, isolation. People that put out so much into the world, they're talking about, are they suffering from loneliness?
Mm-hmm.
Because that kind of relationship, it's
a one-sided relationship.
Right.
You have in your mind, it seems like you have relationships with thousands of tens of 20,000s of people. But at the end of the day, you can't actually have an intimate relationship with those.
You can have a weird internet friend, and we love ours, but you can't have what I think humans need, which is that person, that human with you. A couple other things that they talked about was short-term memory. They're talking about how that constant going from one app to the other, it's breaking down our ability to have like a good recall.
Yeah.
So brain health below, that's terrifying. And one of my biggest issues, I think, that I have with, and I started feeling this way, I would say maybe 10 years ago when I had an email, and then I got Facebook, and then I had messages, and I got Instagram, and people can message me there. And then I realized I have a phone that people can call me on, they can text me on. And at this point, I have maybe 11 ways people can message me or get in contact with me. And not only is that overly excessive, I think, but also then there's this sense of immediate response and action that people think we're supposed to take. And
that spills out into work emails and after hours shit.
I had once someone said to me, I didn't respond to someone's text message because sometimes I don't, and I don't mean to not do it, but they fall by the wayside. And I think about that text I should have responded to. And I'm like, I should really, and she said to me, she's like, are you one of those that don't respond to your messages? And I was like, yeah, sometimes
Proudly,
I am. Sorry. Sometimes that happens because I know that, and this person who said this to me, she will respond to your message within seconds. And I'm not activated like that.
That just will wear on your adrenals, I think, after a while. I do think it will wear. Something that I have been doing lately to negate the scrolling
tell me.
Is choosing to move and be active in moments where I could be sitting and wasting my time staring on my phone. And, pickleball has definitely made the accessibility to playing with people at the parks and courts and stuff super easy and fun. I can literally text and say, anyone want to play? But I've also done this thing where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk and 5 minutes, a couple blocks, what have you. I've been doing it a lot lately, and choosing activity over sedentary doom scrolling and filling in the gaps there. And it brings you again, like out of your, like this constant connection. And all of a sudden you find yourself and you're walking down the street and you're noticing what's around you, but you're also like stopping and talking to a neighbor that you weren't planning on having a conversation with. I don't know. I just think that there is so many different little tricks that we can implement into our everyday life to sort of create barriers and also
balance.
Exactly.
And that's why I wore my sweatshirt today. Slow down, care less, do nothing. And that's our message for our listener today. It's like when you get that kind of urge, if you're, just ready to pick that phone up and doom scroll, or you're feeling overly accessible to people, set up those boundaries, like slow down for a day and take an hour and start turning off notifications, or map out on your week calendar, like, at this time, I'll check my emails at this time. And I'm lousy with that. I check my emails, and I respond at pockets of time. But I think for this month, I too am also going to devise a plan to be more mindful with like my connectivity on how I can, because here's I'm jumping ahead. My slow down, or my cozy mindful well-being for the month, is to take this month, my favorite month, one day at a time. Yeah. And I did that so intentionally in Italy that it worked. It didn't fly by. The last maybe couple days, it was like, here we go. But the whole month, and the trick to that is not overly anticipating, being like, oh, I can't wait to get there. Of course, I can't wait to get to the next spot. But I feel like the more you activate that rushing, everything just starts to speed up.
Totally.
And so for this month, I'm definitely working on myself slowing down. And you mentioned like doing nothing, take notice of the world around you and not the world on the screen. There's so much. There's so much.
I had an interesting conversation with somebody recently who had asked me what we do and what our platform is all about. And, and I give a little blurb and then I lead with this, we inspire people to slow down, care less, and do more of nothing. And, you'd be surprised. Most everybody is like, you're speaking my language, but on occasion, you're going to meet somebody that hears that care less, do nothing aspect of what we're doing. And they say, I don't know if I can get behind that. And that person is typically a very type A, always on the go, grinding it out kind of a personality. But she said, I don't know if I can get behind that. And I said, that's okay, to each his own. What we talk about here was born out of our own burnout because we kept doing and prioritizing everybody before ourselves. And then I said, so she came back to me a little bit later and she said, she thought about it. And she goes, I want to talk to you about this again. She goes, first of all, I didn't mean to, offend you about disagreeing. And I'm like, no offense taken. And she said, but sometimes people in their seasons of life, they have no choice.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I agreed. I've been there. You've been there, sometimes, we
sometimes are there now. It's even
seasons
there's
of
moments.
Life.
Seasons
could
be
life.
A day or it could be months or years.
Exactly. But I said, let's take this just a step further for a second. I said, as women, we're going to just talk to the women for a second. Okay. Our natural birthright as women is to care for something. And when you're always caring for somebody, something, an animal, a person, a sick parent, a child, a business, a job, I could go on for days. The first person we put on the back burner is us. And my response to that was all we are really saying here is it's okay for women and men, but right now I'm talking to the ladies, to put themselves at the front of the line when it comes to slowing down and caring less. And caring less means just, it'll get done.
Well, also maybe caring less about shit that's giving you stress that you don't need to be stressed out about. Or caring less about people on the internet. It could be anything.
Exactly.
It could be anything that's activating a little, I've used that word 10 times today, anything that's, instigating a little bit of anxiety or overwhelm. If that can be deleted from your life, that's where you start to care less a little bit. The big stuff, you can't care less about some of the big stuff.
And I think it's important to pay attention. Exactly. You can't change things. We couldn't change the fact that our mom had FTD. You know what I'm saying?
Dying and couldn't take care of herself. No.
You can't change those things. But to what you were just saying, it's important to take a moment. If you're one of those people that's feeling like your freaking adrenals are running on, full blast and you've got nothing left to give, pay attention to those things that are causing you distress and chop those off, remove those from your everyday.
Dude, we are just wired differently. I got to go back to walking around in the piazza in Fondi where our family lives, and it was post dinner time. So it was 7:00 and you just saw again, people. I have a photo I posted of 4 men sitting on a bench, old men. They were probably 70, no phones. They're just talking and looking. Okay. And then men, I saw grown men walking around licking ice cream cones, having gelato.
Totally.
People are in the moment. They're conversing, they're talking, they're getting out for a walk after. And it's such a cultural difference. We are wired differently here, but that's why I went to Italy for a month to do some homework for you guys. Okay. I went to go learn why other countries sometimes seem to be thriving. Yeah, they might be chain smoking, but forget about that aspect of it. All right.
At least they were in the moment while they sucked that motherfucker down.
It's the truth. I'm telling you, I saw people leaning up against old ass buildings, just sipping on a cigarette, no phone in sight. And if that's how they wanted to enjoy it, at least they were not connected. They were just with their thoughts and with their cancer stick.
But is that because the lifestyle in Italy is such that they don't work to live?
No, there's so much more to Michelle, you're absolutely right.
They live, their priority in life is not their job. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm making a gross generalization, but the feeling across the board is living a beautiful life.
Michelle, and they stop working at 1:30 in the day. And then just to stop. And then they start working again at 4:30.
Yes, it's not like they're stopping work to go to a doctor appointment.
And they might, that might be when they're doing it. Who knows? But they're not having to, I mean, again, gross generalization, but I'm assuming that if you get a pause throughout the day from 1:30 to 4:30, you have more ease to put a doctor's appointment in. You're not like, hey, can I take some paid time off to go get this lump checked out? No,
fuck that.
It's a little bit more accommodating to the human needs.
And I will say that I have integrated my own siesta into my life since COVID, but more recently in the last year, I would say. Pickle is a perfect example. My nooner that I go, there is something to be said for taking a pause, for giving your brain a rest, and for stepping away from the grind. It's vital. It's a necessity.
Another thing I noticed, and we'll move on then to our next segment of reading, watching, listening to, the cost of living is lower. I got back and I was getting an espresso for €1.50, €2 maybe. It sounds kind of expensive for an espresso in a small town there. And I came back and Anthony asked me to go run and grab, I was doing some errands. He's like, will you go get me my oat draft latte? His favorite thing from La Colombe. $6.53. And the foam, the head of it goes down. So it's about a half of a cup of a draft latte. So, we got to work hard for those motherfucking lattes.
And and don't forget about those fucking pumpkin spice lattes that have freaking poison in them so we're paying a shitload of money for them and they put crap in our food too.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I know you're fired up from that one segment you saw.
I'm pissed off. I'm not surprised. I mean, I've known it for a long time.
No
whatever.
Surprises.
I'm just saying it's like, if our options are rush through life, work until we're sick, old and dying, that's option B. I'm going to open option B that says, I'm going to fucking pump the brakes. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to prioritize me before everybody else. I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to put the guardrails up and I'm going to do what I want to do. And the shit will get done when it gets done.
And you will also work hard still. No one around here is not working hard.
Never worked harder, never worked better, never been more productive.
Lights out. All right, you guys. So listen, this October, slow down, care less, do nothing, and think of those words, that mantra, and it bring it anywhere, implement it in any part of your life where you can do one of those or all three of those things. And I promise you, we promise you, and you can ask us for a refund if this is untrue. We promise you, you will see the bright side of doing so.
Cozy, mindful well-being, upgrade.
Yeah, upgrade. Reading, watching, listening to. Michelle, you go. I've read nothing besides my book, Them Slowly, but loving and getting through. You are reading Hamilton.
Yes, I'm reading My Dear Hamilton. This is written by Stephanie Dray and Laura Camoy. It's a historical fiction novel about Eliza Schuyler Hamilton, the gal who married Alexander Hamilton.
Okay.
And it's narrated from Eliza's perspective, and it follows her journey as a young woman through the American Revolution, and then later she is a widow because Hamilton, passes away. Anyway, I am thoroughly enjoying this. It's a nice change of pace for me, really. I don't typically dive into the American Revolution phase of life.
How did you find this book?
I think it popped up in one of my feeds and it was like, if you saw Hamilton, if you loved that, then you need to read this. And it's really that, I don't know why there's so much suffering. There's a lot of crap going on, but for some strange reason, it is giving me the cozy vibes.
Okay, cool. I did see on the Today Show, Ina Garten's new autobiography is out, her memoir. And that's going to be my maybe winter read. She's cozy, and she sounds like she's got a lot. Yeah, she looks like our mom, you guys. Before our mom died, literally, not that Ina's looking bad. And before, I'm saying she looks
bob,
great.
Bang.
It's that freaking bang bob. And, it's the same body shape.
Same build.
It's literally the same person, only our mom's dead and she's alive and thriving. Hello, I think she's got a lot of wisdom to share. So especially about putting up boundaries in relationships that are toxic. So I think I'm going to read that. Michelle, watching.
Wait, and I just want to, what I think is so amazing about her too, which I love. And, sometimes when we look at, she had a kind of a shitty, her parents weren't the best. And that's what she was talking about on this segment. And the thing that, those experiences change you. They either make you or they break you.
Yep.
And she had one too many shit sandwiches growing up, and she decided she wasn't going to settle for another shit sandwich. Instead, she was going to make incredible sandwiches, roast pork, roast everything.
Yum.
But she stood firm in what she wanted. I think because of those early darker days. And that's what makes her story so amazing, is what she grew, what she became, what she chose to, the path she went on, in her later years, well, in her early years too. And her love for her husband is adorable.
Yeah, I love her love for her husband. I think she's got a lot to share, and I look forward to reading that. In regards to watching, Michelle, I'm watching No One Wants This, and I'm watching
what are your
it because
thoughts?
I'm being told I'm not a rom-commer. I think like people expressing like the hand-holding, face kissing is great. I don't know. It's not really my thing. I need someone to be chopped up.
What do you think of their chemistry? Their chemistry's good. It's cute.
I'm not saying it's not good. It's not my thing. People are like, we binged this show. I'm like, give me a bingeable true crime. I can't. It's not, I'm going to finish it because I want to see what happens. I do love, what's his face? I can never
Adam
remember.
Brody.
He's such, I do enjoy him, and I love the Jewish representation on television. I love him being a rabbi, and I love the sex store scene. There are some good LOLs. If it's easy watching, and I'm waiting for something mind blowing to happen. Is something mind blowing going to happen?
No,
exactly.
No.
That's why it's not for me.
No one's head's getting chopped off. They're not going to find body parts in the kitchen.
Kind of was hoping maybe it takes a turn for the worse, and he like kills her.
No, he doesn't, Lauren. He's a fucking rabbi.
But I will tell you that there's a new season of the Great British Baking Show out, and it delivers. It is so good. If you need some cozy, mindless, feel-good watching, please turn it on. That cast is wonderful.
It is cozy.
It's so great. And then heads up, today, it's Thursday on this release of this podcast day, and the new Salem's Lot movie on Max is out. And if it's anything as scary as the book, which I read, it is going to be so good. And I hope it is. So if you're looking for some October spookies, let's go Salem's Lot. Michelle, you are watching Hope Solo versus U.S. Soccer.
Yes, because
do you recommend
anything U.S. Soccer, I am going to watch. And I'm sure that stems from, me seeing the 99ers win in the World Series. And Hope Solo has always been sort of like an infamous player, and I get a different version of her. She's coming forward. She's a badass. She, this is highlights the legal battle between Hope and the United Soccer Federation. She essentially got fired from her job. She's literally the best women's goalie in the history of soccer. But this story highlights her fight for equal pay. I mean, these women were filling stadiums, winning World Cups. They were getting paid like $70,000 while the men couldn't even win a game and were making millions.
It's a joke.
And it
makes
pissed her
me
off.
so mad.
And it pissed her off.
Good.
And they canned her. And she
I'm not good at that.
No, and she is making it her life's mission to speak for women's rights
to change
sports.
for the ones behind her. Because that's what women do, baby. We pave the way and we fight for the people that come after us, which is a lifelong journey and mission of all of ours. All right, I'm not listening to anything, but you're listening to something fun.
I am. I'm listening to acoustic fall guitar covers on Spotify. And Run, Don't Motherfucking Walk. It is
I need to
a
link
delightful tunage in the background while you're doing your thing.
Love it. All right. For cozy, mindful well-being, as I shared earlier in this episode, I am intentionally and mindfully, wholeheartedly taking October one day at a time. I do not want to rush my favorite month. It works, you guys. I did it in Italy. Of course, it's a different way of life and whatnot, but it's so possible here. Savor the small things, enjoy the cups of tea, espresso, what have yous, get spooky with it, get your witch on, walk and hear the leaves crunch.
Yes.
All of these things, taking notice, slow it down on the outside and the inside. Michelle, what are you doing?
Oh my God. I am stretching, okay? Daily stretching. And aside from being a regular yoga practitioner, which I've taken a big old pause from that since I started playing pickle, I have developed some tight hips. I've got some sciatica going on. So uncomfortable. I took the deep dive and I am making a daily commitment to stretching. I discovered a very knowledgeable, handsome man His name's Darius Williams, and he's actually a trainer, okay? But his whole platform on TikTok is stretching. You got tight hips, he's got a video for you.
I love it.
You know, you want to do proper stretches, back stretches. You sit all day, you stand all day. He's the guy. Guys, I am not kidding you. I did 30 minutes of deep stretching yesterday in my basement. I customized it to me, what is ailing me. I went and played pickle for the first time in 3 weeks without 1 ounce of pain. And I was like, if that immediate improvement in my well-being is not a sign that I need to keep doing this, I guess we got people don't think if we don't want to feel old, we got to stretch.
Listen, I'm a yogi, so I get it. And I feel like people underestimate the powers of a simple stretch or stretching and breathing. Do this at the same time. Focus on a couple breaths while you're stretching, and it can change the way your body functions.
And again, another thing, like instead of constantly scrolling, and being on your phone, maybe take 5 and implement some hip openers.
Move your body. Move your body.
Body.
All right, you guys, with that being said, Michelle and I want to wish you a happy October. There's nothing cozier than a harvest candle. The link is in our bio. Stay tuned. Our website is almost done, and it's going to be so freaking cool and sexy and chic and upgraded. So happy October, you guys. And as always,
stay cozy, listener.
Thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of The Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at The Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.